Governor Cooper is with us in Kitty Hall, and he is about to speak.
Thank you for making time to be here. I'm Monty Ross, along with my wife Julie. We welcome you to our house. I just took a tally, and this does break the attendance record for any event here. The previous event was Julie's Christmas cookie exchange. 18 to 20 folks. So
there's always next year.
Yes. It is wonderful to see all of you here, old and new friends. Thank you for making time and taking the chance to be here on this wonderful spring day. Finally, a little sunshine, cool temperatures, but we are humbled to be asked to participate and host this event. So I would like to thank all the sponsors who put time and energy to put this on. We just had to provide the space, and it really does mean a lot to have so many people involved to make this thing a success. So thank you to all the sponsors. The purpose of this event, if you've been reading the information, is to break the majority. Personally, my hope is to take back the majority.
That's right.
And I'm going to keep my remarks brief, but I do have a few things to say, and forgive my partisanship here. House rules apply, though, I think.
So forgiving. All right.
We all know that 2010 was a turning point, and we have been suffering to some degree or another over the past 8 years. The list of things that has happened over that time period, this is just a short list, but gerrymandering, HB 2, gutting the provisions of the Voter Rights Act, voter suppression tactics with ID requirements, early voting locations shut down, early voting time periods shut down, tampering with the state election board, restricting the power of the executive branch in 2016. All of these, you know, the old saying, elections have consequences. Well, that is true. These weren't designed to improve anybody's life, but they were designed specifically just to retain power. Fortunately, a lot of the things that have happened, the courts have said, you can't do that. At least 16 big decisions have put the brakes on some of the things that the Republican legislature has tried to do. So what happens then? Well, you don't like the outcome, you change the courts. Changing the judiciary, gerrymandering the districts for judges, trying to strip the appellate court of seats, I think, something like that. So this is all about retaining power. What we need to do, obviously, is change things in Raleigh. So maybe it's baby steps. What is it? 6 seats in the House, 4 in the Senate, or I may have that backwards. It's not big numbers. It certainly can be done. This election in 2018 really is critical. The governor needs to break the majority. When he has the ability to veto legislation, he gets to negotiate. He gets to put his agenda on the table. And that really is a tremendous first step. So by being here, by supporting the break the majority effort, you're becoming part of a collaborative effort that includes the governor, includes the North Carolina Democratic Party. Wayne Goodwin has done an amazing job over the past year and a half to really bring new energy to the party. And we're just really, really fortunate to have Governor Roy Cooper here with us tonight. And talk to us about 2018, talk to us about what he's hearing from all parts of the state. His bio, obviously, is incredibly impressive, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, so check out his wiki page. I do want to point out a couple things. He really is committed to job creation. He is committed to making sure that health care is available and accessible to all North Carolina citizens. And really, he has a tremendous commitment to improving the education system in our state. He has served the North Carolina House, North Carolina Senate, Attorney General. In fact, he's never lost an election. Is that right? And in fact, in the election of 2016, final tally was right around 10,000 votes, correct, out of 4.6 million. I did the math. It's about 0.2% or so. Every vote counts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that reminded me of Julie and I moving to Manio in '94 or something like that. Liquor by the drink was on the ballot. And that vote was, I think the final difference was 10 votes. We forgot to vote. It would have been 8. And I do want to emphasize that lesson does hold true. It's one we need to carry out with us from today, that every vote does count. So Governor Cooper, you are among friends here, and I welcome you and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Monty and Julie Ross, for opening your wonderful home tonight. Thank you very much. I see many friends in this crowd, people that I have known a long time. Way back in the day when I served in the state senate with my good friend, Senator Mark Bassnight, who has done so much for me. And just a couple of people that you are probably already know, but the head of the governor's Eastern office is here, Mary Jo Alcock. And Mary Jo, great. And I've got my Board of Transportation member, Alan Moran, who's right there. And working in my campaign effort and Break the Majority, we have Caroline Hall and Amy Murphy, who are back there, who are working so hard to make sure that we do what we need to do. Thank you for your help and your trust in me. Now, because of the work that you did in 2016, we have a governor who says, I believe in public education.
Yes.
I believe in our community colleges and our universities, and I want to make it a priority. You have a governor now who says absolutely no to offshore drilling. And then if they try to do it, we're going to take them to court. You have a governor now who says not only to the rest of the country, but to the world, that North Carolina is a welcoming place. We value diversity. We value inclusion. And I have appointed not only the most talented cabinet in the history of the state, but it is also by far the most diverse cabinet in the history of the state.
Thank you.
And we have a governor who believes that whether or not you get to see a doctor shouldn't depend on how much money you have. That health care coverage should be available to the people of these states. So, working together, we were able to root out an incumbent governor, which is the hardest thing to do in politics, but you helped us do it. But I've got something to tell you today, and you already know it because you're here. That was phase 1. We are now in phase 2. Because even with all of the good things that we're doing now through our cabinet agencies, and we're, I think, raising the level of discussion with this General Assembly. When they started fighting with me about who was going to do the most for teacher pay, I said, that's the kind of fight that I want to have.
Yeah.
And that's not the kind of fight that we would have had unless we had taken this governor's office. But unless you hadn't noticed, I need some help in Raleigh. Okay? We need a better legislature.
Yes.
Monty told you the kinds of things that they are doing to this state. Cutting funding for education. Not caring about whether we have clean water in our state. Taking us down the kind of path that we don't want to go. Because I grew up in eastern North Carolina. You know, people have thanked me for coming out here to the Outer Banks. Who doesn't want to come to the Outer Banks? We have to have a state government that values this part of the state and understands what you do for our entire state. One of the reasons why I created an outdoor recreation industry office within our Department of Commerce, because we know how important tourism is to our state, and we have to value this fragile and beautiful coastline that we have. And when we're talking about trying to get a better General Assembly, let me tell you why I'm no longer talking about breaking the supermajority. I believe we can take the majority.
Yes.
And there's several reasons for that. Number one, we have history on our side. The party out of power to the president in the midterms generally does well. But number two, that principle is now on steroids. And I'll tell you why. Number one, we have recruited some of the best candidates that have ever run for the General Assembly.
Yes.
I worked hard to recruit some candidates that you would not believe, leaders in communities. I would tell them, if you're ever going to do this, now is the time to do it, because we're going to make history. And one thing you're going to do, you better do, is you better send test judge to Ryan. I'm going to be back here helping her, because she's one of the ones that I had many talks with about doing this. Jane Webster and I convinced her that this is something we need to do. And she loves this state, and she loves Eastern North Carolina, and she loves the Outer Banks, and we have to have her help. But that's the quality of candidate that we have recruited to run for office. Next, we have a positive message. The people of North Carolina know that our state Constitution requires public education for everyone, but they also have it in their DNA. And people are going to support those who truly support public education, and these guys have a poor record in supporting public education. The second thing is we have won some court cases, and they have forced the drawing of better districts. Another reason, this president. Need I say more? There's a three-letter word here, mad people vote. And people are upset. And the polling that has been done in these legislative districts, the intensity is off the charts. Democrats, unaffiliated, a number of Republicans are supporting this effort to break the majority because they know things have gone off the rails and we have to change them. So you're here tonight because I started this effort, Break the Majority. And the country is looking at North Carolina. They know we made a change in the governor's office. And now they're looking to see if we can do the same thing in our General Assembly. I started Break the Majority even though some people told me, you need to make sure that you're reelected and you need to worry about your reelection. And I say, wait a minute. You elected me to be a good governor. And I can't be as good a governor as you want me to be without a better legislature. Yeah. So I'm spending most of my time governing, working to lead this state. But when I'm talking about politics to people, I'm talking about these good legislative candidates that we have. And with this Break the Majority effort, we have amassed quite a bit of funds to help them. And you all are stepping forward to do that, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for making sure that we got the resources. We're going to have the grassroots, and we're going to ask you to work hard, to get on that telephone, to knock on those doors, to go play. And I know out here in Eastern North Carolina in the Senate district, where you got Cole Phelps who's running, and you got this house seat. It's a pretty big area. A lot of you people drove a long ways to come here tonight. But we need you to fan out, and we need you to work. And we need the resources, too. We had to raise a lot of money to oust an incumbent governor. Well, this is an incumbent legislature. And we need to have the same kind of zeal, the same kind of intensity, the same kind of determination to make sure we win these races. We've got everything going our way. Even Mitch McConnell